Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. It's official. The heater has officially come to an end. I had a losing Wednesday night, lost the Hawks, lost the Rockets. I did win the Raps, but that was my smaller bet. And I won the Cavs, but I didn't post it on the website, so I can't count that. So overall, it wasn't an absolutely terrible night, but it was a losing ticket on the site, which means the heater is over. The way that Hawks game ended, man. The Hawks are up 3 with about 15, 16 seconds left. Paolo Banchero hits a miracle shot, like a 27-footer contested to tie it, and then DeJounte Murray hit a game winner. But if Banchero misses that 3, then the Hawks are shooting free throws up 3, and more than likely the Hawks get... I didn't deserve the win. I'm not saying like, I got screwed, because Orlando plus 3.5 was probably the right side, but we had it. We did have it at the end. But hey, that's gambling. We've had a lot of lucky bounces the last week and a half. It's about time one went against us, to be honest. So anyway, Thursday NBA, not exactly the strongest slate, just 5 games on the board. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, special shout out to Living Good in the Discord, man. We put this man on the spot. We forced him to make a pick. Everyone was trolling him. Everyone was like, nah, you're making a pick right now. We're all tailing. And he rose to the occasion. He gave out LSU -3 and they covered. So give this man his flowers. Let's give him a shout out. Also, can we please refrain from stealing credit for other people's picks? I'm not going to mention any names.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, Chicago's on the road up in Toronto. Raps are catching 2 points at home here, and the total sitting at 224.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we got another Raps win here. Final score 116-114 according to the model. Raps win. Let's talk injuries. Bulls are still missing Torrey Craig off the bench. He's been out for a while now. Dosunmu also listed as questionable for the Bulls. Andre Drummond listed as probable, so it looks like he's going to play. Raps are also dealing with their fair share of injuries. So it looks like Dennis Schroeder is going to be in the starting 5 now that Siakam's gone. Pirtle and Otto Porter both still out. Newly acquired Bruce Brown from the Pacers, he's also hurt. Raps, as I've been saying the last few days, seriously lacking size right now. So let's match these two teams up on the court. Obviously, as we know, the Raps just played last night, so we'll start by taking a look at their numbers in back-to-backs. On 0 days rest, they're 3-4 against the spread on the season, 24th in defensive efficiency and 10th in offensive efficiency, which obviously isn't great, but you know what? Neither are these recent trends for the Bulls. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 trips to Toronto. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 road games. 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 games overall. Just not a great looking spot for the Bulls here. And as we know, this is a Raps team that's been playing well. They're 8-4 against the spread in their last 12 total. Just 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 at home, but they've been mostly on the road since the trade. Since Barrett and Quickly have joined the lineup for the Raps, they've only played 3 home games, and they're 2-1 against the spread in those 3, with their only loss being to the Celtics. As far as how these teams match up numbers-wise, we know the Bulls are going to attack the rim. Chicago's been doing that a lot recently. They're 6th in frequency in the last 10 games, and that has been the weak spot of the Raptors defense, but the Bulls haven't been making their shots. Bulls are hitting just 59.8% of their field goal attempts at the basket in the last 10 games. Just 59.8% at the rim. That's 27th in the NBA in the last 10. And they're going to need those inside shots to fall in this game, because we know Chicago usually likes to eat from the mid-range with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Toronto's got great defensive numbers against the mid-range shot. They're 3rd in frequency, 1st in efficiency in the last 10 games. So if you're into player props, it might be worth a look to check out DeMar DeRozan's under in this one. But before we all go rushing to bet the Raps, we also need to take note that the Bulls defense is a tough matchup for them. They've played really well on the interior, and Raps haven't had much of a presence as far as outside shooting recently. So as much as I think the Bulls are going to struggle to score points, this isn't a great matchup for Toronto offensively either. So maybe based on that information, I might lean under, but I'm just going to keep blindly taking the Raps like I've been doing since the trade. I mean, at a quick glance, yeah, they're only 4-5 straight up, but they're 6-2-1 against the spread, and that's a gold mine. A team that's losing games but covering numbers because you continue to get a good price. Raps catching points at home. They've been playing great basketball. I'm riding them. Raps +2. Next game. Wizards on the road in Madison Square Garden to play the Knicks. It looks like the lines are opening now. I'm seeing it open at 12. Knicks laying 12 here, but I only see it open on PointsBet as I'm recording this. Total is opening up at 237 on PointsBet. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we have a comfortable Knicks win here, 121-107 Knicks, so I guess a slight lean towards the Knicks, but we're dealing with a 12-point spread, so I wouldn't go by that. Let's talk injuries. Washington is completely healthy with the exception of Daniel Gafford, who's already been ruled out for this one. So Washington, who's already super thin on the interior, is now also missing their center. On the Knicks side of things, as of right now, it's just the same two guys questionable in this one that were questionable last night, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. Both were questionable, both ended up playing, so on a back-to-back, I wouldn't be surprised if one or both of these guys sat. So let's take a look at some betting trends, and you remember about a month ago, the Wizards were a pretty reliable team to bet on the road. They were covering a lot of numbers on the road. Those days are gone because Washington's just 2-4-1 against the spread in their last 7, 1-3-1 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. Got a trend here from Prop Beaver he sent in. Knicks are just 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 home games against Washington, but I mean 14 home games against Washington. We're talking about 7-8 years into the past now, so honestly, who cares? This Knicks team as a whole has been cruising, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 at home. We do have to take a look at the back-to-back numbers, though. Knicks just played a game last night. They played the Rockets, and they won comfortably. On the season, they're now 5 on 0 days rest, so really no lean there either. One mismatch I did find here, though, Washington should definitely get some opportunities in transition in this one. The Wizards offense pushes the tempo often, and they're actually really good at it. You wouldn't know by their lack of wins this season, but they're actually first in the NBA in fast break efficiency. So the Wizards are actually good at pushing the tempo. And as you can see, Knicks haven't been the greatest defensive team in transition. So especially if Josh Hart or Jalen Brunson's out, one of their main guards or main wings, Wizards should see some opportunities in this department, which is why that's where I probably lean here. Washington plus 12. I know the Knicks just burned me last night with the Rockets. I don't want to make a habit of fading my favorite team and losing, but on a back-to-back, 12 points against a team that should see some opportunities in the fast break, I'll lean Washington plus 12. I'll let you know the final decision on the live show. I didn't bet this one yet, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Wizards. Next game, Oklahoma City on the road in Utah. Jazz are catching 3.5 points at home with the total sitting at 246.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we got a heavy lean on the Jazz here. 123-114 Jazz win. No injuries on either side here. As of right now, as I'm recording this, no injury designations for either team. Do you really even need me to break down this game? I mean, if you subscribe to this channel, you already know what I'm betting. Betting the Utah Jazz. They're 12-2 straight up and 12-2 against the spread in their last 14. There are only 2 losses in that span. At Boston, at New Orleans. They're 16-3 in their last 19 home games. They haven't lost a home game since December 8th. If you subscribe to this channel, you know I've been blindly betting the Utah Jazz for a while now, and it hasn't failed me yet, so I see no reason to stop now. Utah plus 3.5. I'll probably also bet the money line. Next game, Indiana on the road in Sacramento to play the Kings. Lines opening up, Kings minus 8.5 at home, and the total sitting at 246.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we're going to see a 122-116 Kings win. Let's take a look at the injury reports, and Pacers definitely dealing with a bunch of shit right now. Obviously, they bring in Pascal Siakam, which is huge, but I don't think he's going to make his Pacers debut in this one. He's listed as doubtful. Tyrese Halliburton has been ruled out again. Mathurin, Naismith, Obi Toppin, all listed as questionable, and they just traded Bruce Brown, so Bruce Brown's gone too. So Indiana really thin at wing right now. They've got a couple guards active, and they got a couple bigs active, but all their main wings, all their main pieces at wing, banged up for this one. Kings, on the other hand, completely healthy. No injury designations for Sacramento in this one. Let's talk some Indiana Pacers trends, and they're surprisingly positive here. 9-2-1 against the spread in their last 12 overall, 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 on the road, and I haven't even noticed that. I need to be better at that. You know what it is? Halliburton's been out. So for the last week and a half, or however long it's been, whenever I see Pacers game, I've been inclined to skip it. So I've probably skipped a lot of Pacers games recently, leaving value on the board just because their star players out and they're so reliant on him offensively. But you know what? We're leaving money on the table. 9-2-1 against the spread in their last 12. Some trends for Sacramento. We got 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, but 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 at home. So I know I just gave a little speech about leaving value on the board and ignoring the Pacers game, games. And I know that might incline you to bet the Pacers here, but to be honest, I really don't like the matchup for them. Pacers haven't been shooting the outside shot at all. Just 37% of the Pacers shot attempts over the last 10 games have come from three. It's one of the lowest in the NBA in that stretch. I think they're like 24th and above the break, 20th from the corner. They've been attacking the rim a lot. Look at the Kings side of this chart. That plays directly into the strength of the Kings defense. You can see the top of the Kings chart is all green, bottom is all red. Kings defense really struggles against the outside shot, but they've actually been really good inside. So this Kings defense actually might have a nice matchup. You don't get to say that often. Also, the Pacers have really been having turnover problems recently. They're 27th in the last 5 games in turnover rate. It seems like they have problems protecting the basketball without Halliburton on the court. Kings defense has been pretty good in that department. Could result in a lot of fast break points for the Kings. I really could see Sacramento running away with this game. I'm not crazy about the idea of laying 8.5 points with a Kings team that hasn't played well at home, and a Kings team that's lost 3 straight. But I feel like this is the way to go in this one. They're back home after losing 3 in a row. They just got done with a road trip. I think this is a get-right spot for the Kings, so I'm probably going to lay the point. Not probably. Yeah, I'll take it. I didn't bet it yet. I'll bet it right after I'm done recording. Give me the Kings minus 8.5. Maybe I can find a minus 8 next game. Memphis Grizzlies on the road at Minnesota here. T-Wolves are laying 11.5. This line actually just opened also, though. I see 11.5 open. So by the time you're watching this could be 13. It could be 9.5. I just see one book open. Total sitting at 218. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we're looking at a close game here. 111-109 Minnesota. So Minnesota wins. Memphis covers the number. Injury-wise, this Memphis team is so thin at guard. It's actually crazy. Obviously, Ja Morant out for the season, but Marcus Smart is out. Desmond Bane is out. Derrick Rose is out. I mean, for a team that has a lot of talented guards on the roster, they just have nobody at that position active right now. As far as injuries on the Minnesota side, Anthony Edwards is listed as questionable again. He was just listed as questionable last night against the Pistons. He ended up playing. So I would imagine questionable last night, played back-to-back with a travel. They had to fly from Detroit to Minnesota. He's questionable again. I think there's a good chance he sits this one out, but don't hold me to that. To be honest, I don't have a ton of interest in betting this game. I guess I would lean Memphis plus the big number with Minnesota being on a back-to-back, possibly without Anthony Edwards. Yeah, you know what? That's where I'd lean, but as of right now, I haven't bet it, and I'm not jumping at the chance to do so. So I'll put Memphis minus 11.5. I definitely wouldn't lay it with Minnesota. You know what? I'm in the same boat I was last night. If you remember last night, I said Detroit plus 11.5, Detroit plus 12 or pass. That's exactly how I feel about this one. I won't lay the points with Minnesota. Not sure if I end up pulling the trigger with Memphis or not. Live stream, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going through NBA and college basketball. We're mixing them together. We'll make our final decisions. I'll bring on guests like I do every day. So if you're able to make it at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets for all sports parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information is right there on the homepage. We had our first losing day in a while. Let's not let that get us down. It's been a really good stretch here. January's been beautiful to us. We're having a great 2024. Let's get right back on the horse. Let's post another winning day up. Get back on track. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.